Hello everyone, Cameron back for another video. This time I'm going to be responding to a comment on one of my previous videos. This video was about settling and how in my early days of dating I had a relationship that I would refer to as a settling relationship. I went with a girl who I wasn't super into and stayed with her for way too long. And I talked in that video about how that experience really set the marker down and defined a lot of my dating moving forward. Like, I had basically determined that I would never end up in that situation again. A lot of my drive, my motivation to get better in dating, get better results with women was so I didn't end up, with someone I didn't want to be with. And someone responded to that video with a really good comment, and I want to look at it. He made 2 points. One of them is about breaking up, which I'm going to actually respond to, but at the end, because I want to get into his second point a little bit more. And his second point starts with this bit, which is personally, I'm also non-monogamous. So that he finds if he's in a so-so relationship, he can just deprioritize it a little bit and let his actions show the girl that I'm not super invested, but still let it run its course. No need to, break it off unless he's completely lost interest. But he finds that's not very common, and he'll just deprioritize girls in a non-monogamous situation. So I want to talk about this. I found ethical non-monogamy to also be something of a protection against the idea of settling, like the idea that a girl, you're going to end up trapped with a girl who is, you sort of liked her at one point, but then it kind of went away. And then the point of settling, the problem I talked about in the video was settling is largely like out of fear and like an idea that you couldn't do better, that you have no options. And what I found with ethical non-monogamy, which someone also asked in the comments, what is ethical non-monogamy? Ethical non-monogamy is just being non-monogamous, but being honest about it with the people that you date. So you date girls and you tell them, hey, I'm also dating other women. That's ethical non-monogamy. I can do a load of videos about ethical non-monogamy, but that's the basics. A lot of guys have issues with it based on the fact they prefer monogamy or they don't want the girls they're seeing with to be sleeping with other guys. But fundamentally for me, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with all the downsides and I'm okay with all the upsides. I'm going to be talking mostly about the upsides here. And the main upside, and I responded to this guy and said, yeah, to me, I don't ever have a fear of settling because I do ethical non-monogamy, because I don't have a problem with the idea that I won't have any options, because I'm always on the market. I'm theoretically always, keeping my feet wet, keeping myself in a position where I can go out and date other girls. So if one girl is no longer particularly satisfying to me, or it's a bit more so-so, like this guy was saying, you can essentially just see that girl less. Like deprioritize is the word he would use. But functionally, when you deprioritize a girl, or you're just not as keen on her as you were before, you just see them less. And I've often noticed that there are times when I won't want to see a particular girl that I've been seeing, but then if I give it 2 weeks to a month, like, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I actually do want to see that girl again, and I actually enjoy it more when I see that girl again. So if you're doing an ethically non-monogamous lifestyle, you can sort of do this thing where you just push back seeing a girl for a little bit. Maybe instead of seeing her every week, you see her every 2 weeks or like once a month. Like recently there was a girl, I was super unavailable and she was super unavailable. I was going back and forth. We're still seeing each other. But there was a point where we had like literally like a 2 month break. And it wasn't necessarily because I lost interest in her. It was because I was just super busy and then she was super busy. But then when she came back and we hung out again, a lot of my like excitement for her had like come back in force. And seeing her again after that time was really rewarding. And now I'm seeing her more often because it was like I had a break. We had a break. And that break completely refreshed the click between us and the vibe between us. So that's an interesting point about this. The deprioritization, losing a little bit of interest in a girl, seeing different girls and having them kind of in rotation allows you to, reignite a little bit. I do disagree though, I would just end up deprioritizing a girl, and if it never comes back, at that point, I would be ending relationships. I would be saying, hey, I'm not really interested in seeing you anymore. I've ended a few things. Not so much girls that you retain for a while, I would say. Like the majority of girls that you end things with, it's fairly early on. I found when you're doing this sort of dating. So like if you've seen a girl and maybe you slept with her a few times and you're just not really feeling it that much, I would actively say to her, hey, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not going to see, I'm just not going to see you anymore. Send a relatively polite text. It's hard to be completely when you let someone down, I did a whole episode about breaking up with someone, breaking up with girls. There's no good way to do it. There's no good time. There's no way to do it that isn't like a little bit crushing, especially if she really likes you. So you kind of just got to get it over with. That's the first point he made, that like doing it early doesn't necessarily make it better. I actually agree with that. So on his first point, when he was responding to me, he said, it's not necessarily true that ending a relationship sooner hurts the other person less. I, in the video, made the argument that if you end things with girls quickly, it saves them pain down the road. I do think there are situations I've been in where I think it would have been better to end things earlier, especially with that specific relationship where I settled with the girl because she fell in love with me. And I think if I'd broken it off earlier, we wouldn't have had the situation where I was completely breaking her heart. Whereas if I'd broken it off with her like 2 months into the relationship, I think I would have avoided that. But obviously you can't do anything with hindsight in those situations. And I don't want to run hypotheticals in my mind about when that would have been a good time to break up with her. So I actually agree with the criticism that this guy makes, that it is inaccurate to say that breaking off girls earlier is definitely reducing the pain you're going to cause. I think you're always just going to cause a level of pain. You're going to crush someone to some degree if they are into you more than you're into them, and then you end things with them. It's something you've got to be aware of when you're going into a situation where you're going to date a lot of girls, that at some point you're inevitably going to have to learn how to break up with girls. Like, I'd say that to any guy, even if you're coming up with ways to avoid it, if you're just kind of ghosting girls, you're kind of trailing off with girls. The way Andy and I like to operate is that we like to be more honest and more open, and that includes the breakups. That includes the bad stuff. Honesty can bring you a lot of like happiness, can get you really close and really deep with a girl, but on the other side, on the flip side, yeah, there's going to be more onus on you to be honest with a girl when you're no longer feeling it. And yeah, I think I agree with the guy that like when you have ethical non-monogamy, you have more freedom to not end up in these situations, because as he says, you can just deprioritize. You can see girls less. And I don't think any girl that I've retained, like I've been seeing and I retained for longer than like 2 to 3 months, I've ever like lost interest enough in to break up with her. Like usually they drift out of my life, or I was dating a girl who was crossing the international border to come see me. And like I expected that one to trail off. That was like last year, into the beginning of this year. And I was like, it's amazing that you keep crossing the border to come and date me. So I expected that one to eventually, like, she would get a boyfriend, or she decided it wasn't worth driving the 2.5 hours to come see me every time. But the girls I've been dating in this city, I can't see any reason why I would like stop seeing any of the girls I'm seeing currently. So yeah, I think that's a good point. Both the points this guy made were pretty good. He did ask me in response, like, what did I mean by how the ethical non-monogamous lifestyle sets up to avoid the settling situations. And I hope I've explained that well enough. Like, you're not going to be the fears I talked about with settling, like basically fear of hurting someone and fear of not having enough options. Well, you've told the girl that you're seeing other people, so like the fear of hurting someone has been a bit diminished. And you're also, you're dating, you're actively dating, because you're ethically non-monogamous. You're actively dating other girls. You have abundance. Having that abundance, having more than one girl you're seeing, tends to solve a lot of the problems you find when it comes to the settling. Like, feel like, oh shit, I'm settling for this girl. Are there better options out there? I mean, if you're ethically non-monogamous, you're literally seeing there are other options out there, as in you are dating other options. You are dating other girls. So it gets around, I guess, those pitfalls of monogamy that I don't like. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. At the end of the day, I tried monogamy, and I had too much of a problem with the pitfalls in monogamy. And I've just been able to tell a lot of girls since, over time, I was able to get very honest with girls and tell them that monogamy doesn't work for me, and that I do things differently. And obviously you are going to lose some girls to that. Anyone who is, wanting to embark on a non-monogamous lifestyle and do it honestly and ethically and tell the girls, you have to be aware that's going to screen a lot of girls out, girls that you're going to find very attractive, girls that you're not going to want. There's going to be like a part of you that's really not going to want to lose the option of a girl who is not down for this. But if you're going to, embrace ethical non-monogamy, you have to be okay with screening those girls out. You have to be okay with losing girls that are not going to be on board with it. I mean, and that's what Andy and myself, Andy especially, has like trained himself when it comes to screening through the experience to just be okay with losing girls, to be okay with losing girls who don't want the same thing as you, and being honest as possible and upfront as early as possible about what it is you actually want. So that's like the cornerstone of it. I hope I made some sense in this video responding to this comment. I hope the guy who wrote this comment sees this. I don't know when Andy's going to put it up, but maybe the guy is still hanging around the channel. But I hope it's explained some stuff about, how I view ethical non-monogamy as, fixing a few of the pitfalls I found in my experience of other dating lifestyles. And I want to make more content about it. I want to talk more about like living an ethically non-monogamous lifestyle. I've not been the biggest fan in the past of like talking about my sex life when it came to like the get laid phase of my sex life. Like I was always a bit standoffish is the wrong word. I was a bit hesitant to do like lay reports and talk about like how many girls I was sleeping with and stuff like that, because I feel like it took away from my own enjoyment of my sex life. When it comes to like lifestyle design and like how to handle relationships and the stuff that Andy's talking about now, like how to be more honest, how to have these discussions, difficult discussions with girls, even if it's like, even the really bad ones like breakup discussions and stuff about like being honest about how you live and who you are and what you want to do in dating. That stuff's really interesting to me. That stuff's like way more interesting to me than I guess like the pick up and get laid stuff is, to be honest. And I hope more guys, you don't have to agree with everything I say. You don't have to agree with my lifestyle, but I hope some guys find usefulness if they are wanting some of the same stuff that Andy and I have in terms of like, how we live our lifestyles and how we live our dating lives, that they can, even if you don't agree with us, you can take some usefulness from some of this stuff if you're working in the beginning or in the intermediate stages, or even if you're a bit more advanced, but you're trying to work on your honesty with girls. I hope there's something useful in here for everybody. As always, I want to sign off this video by shouting out Andy's killer coaching group that I also help him run. He's been helping guys for, like 4-5 years now. He's been coaching, must be. I met him like 3 and a bit years ago, but he'd been helping guys for way longer than that. He doesn't even give himself enough credit for it. And yeah, one of the best relationship, dating, BDSM, lifestyle, anything coaches I would imagine on the internet. I can't speak highly enough of Andy, and you'll get access to him in the group coaching. If you check links down below, check out what we offer, see if it's the right thing for you, and I would love to see you inside the group and help you out with whatever you're aiming at. Hopefully see you soon. Peace.